Welcome. What is public domain land? This question often comes up when you're starting to research the first purchase of land from your settlers or your ancestors. Well, today we're going to make that distinction and answer that question. What is public domain land? In order to answer the question, we need to make the distinction between state land states and public domain or federal land states. The distinction really hinges on two factors. The first one is who's distributing the land. Think in terms of the federal or governmental entity that is first initially distributing the land to the settlers. For state land states, it would be England, France, Spain. Think the colonies and the early settlements in the colonial period. Public domain land, in contrast, was distributed by the United States federal government post-revolution. The other big distinction is state land states are plotted out, measured, surveyed in a metes and bounds system, and I'll explain that. And the public domain land is distributed or plotted out in a rectangular survey system. The distinction between state land states and public land states came about as a result of the Ordinance of 1785. Imagine this time in our period of history. We're about 10 years old as a country. We've pretty much colonized, or at least initially taken possession of all of the land in the 13 colonies, and we're wanting to move west. Okay. The federal government wanted to do a couple things. It wanted to raise revenue to pay for the Revolutionary War. The war was expensive. We were a small country, didn't have a lot of revenue, but we had a lot of land. So it seemed like a good idea that we will go ahead and sell the land west of the colonies to raise revenue. Secondly, we used the land as bounty land. Just as it might sound, it's a bounty, a bonus. Land grants given to Revolutionary War soldiers, and for that matter, colonial era soldiers, in lieu of financial compensation. And that could have taken two forms. One, it could have been used as a recruitment bonus, and two, it could have been used as a pension bonus. Further, we were wanting to encourage and accommodate Western migration. We wanted our country to grow and prosper, and so anything that we could do to move settlers west was considered a good thing. The Land Ordinance of 1785 set in motion the entire federal land concept, but it was revised in 1800 and 1820 to make the land easier to access, created lower prices. Again, we're trying to encourage migration west, and lower minimum acreage requirements. Initially, it was set at 640 acres. That's a lot of land, even if you are looking to purchase at a very low price. That's a big ticket to bite off. So indeed, they're trying to move settlers west. Public domain, also called federal lands, you've heard me refer to that. Again, it is owned and distributed by the U.S. government. It is the initial transfer of all lands from the federal government to individuals. It's that first ownership. That title, if you will, is called a patent. That is to distinguish it from a deed, but it's the first patenting of land from the federal government in non-colonial 13 colony states. As I say here, it does not include the 13 colonies, and it does not include direct Native American tribe to individual owner land. The land was distributed from, as we said, the beginning of the Land Ordinance from 1785, clear up until the 20th century, 1965. Some of those lands, as you might expect, would be in Alaska. These are the public domain states. All the states in blue are considered public domain, and as you can see, it doesn't include the 13 colonies. You might also know it doesn't include Texas. Well, Texas, as we know, was part of Mexico. It was its own country, so it has its own unique land distribution system. So there you go, a brief primer on what is public domain land. You'll want to check out my other videos that explain the rectangular survey system and how to get these patents on the Bureau of Land Management website. Thank you.